Justice League Red, issue 2, Saladin Ahmed, writing with Clayton Henry on the art. This was obviously the new book last month, with its intriguing premise of Red Tornado doing sneaky Justice League stuff because he's worried that there's going to be a domino effect that leads to the destruction of everything in the future.
Yeah, I feel like Red Tornado is slowly becoming Skynet, and I don't like it. I don't trust Skynet. And I know Red Tornado, as we find out through this issue, there's very noble causes, but I don't buy that Red Tornado even buys what's going on.
Well,
I do like that Ahmed is playing with.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's still up in the air. Like, I think the characters are still constantly questioning, is Red Tornado doing something bad? Like, he's saying they're for good reasons, but it's hard to believe right now. So I think that skepticism is very much warranted. Like, has he gone off the deep end? Is a sinister force working through him, or is he just went crazy? Or evil, whatever. I think structurally, there's a smart kind of thing that he's doing, Ahmed, with this book, where, okay, we only got 2 characters in that first, outside of Red Tornado himself, we got 2 characters. We got Baz and we got Power Girl, right? This issue spends a good third to half the issue introducing our next character. Like, so Cyborg gets a good, solid introduction here, where he's breaking into this technology lab to steal this stuff, and it's a whole action sequence. He fights a big robot at one point, and it's all fun enough. But the reveal at the end of this is that as he's flying away and he's stolen this tech, is he basically realizes, based on the reportings, that he was lied to by Red Tornado. Red Tornado sent him on this mission, and it turns out that he just stole this for Red Tornado. He wasn't stealing it from villains who had something they weren't supposed to. He stole it from the rightful owners of this technology. So he ends up going up to the Red, what do they call it? The Red Tower. And meets up with Baz and Power Girl, and they realize, oh wait, you've been manipulated by this asshole too. And this is where they confront him about what they did in issue 1, which is they destroyed this thing which they were told was a weapon, but it was actually a big factory thing that had food for people in it. Yeah,
it was a food harvester. You know?
Like a robot style thing. So it's like, okay, now we have another character who's pissed at Red Tornado and wants the answers. And he's like, hey, like, I've already made sure that everyone thinks that it was a shapeshifter stealing this technology. No one's going to think you did something bad, Cyborg. He's like, yeah, but why are we doing this? Explain yourself. And he tries to explain the food harvester thing by saying, yeah, but that food was going to feed people that would lead to, like, a war, that would lead to this other planet invading, which would lead to, like, you know, cataclysmic stuff happening. So the domino effect is what you were stopping here. It's not that that thing itself was inherently bad.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we don't really trust you right now, though. So Power Girl's, I'm staying behind right now whilst these other 2 go off in this next mission. Because the next mission, while they're untrusting of him, they are seeing someone who needs help. Because Red Canary, who's the newbie, is like being held captive right now and needs to be saved. So it's like, go and help her. It's like, okay, this at least looks like something good on paper right away. Although Power Girl, like I said, stays back to, like, I'm keeping an eye on Red Tornado. I'm not going anywhere. So Cyborg and Baz go off to do that.
Yeah, and then there's a thing that Cyborg says, and this is what I like when they play with Cyborg, that, you know, he still is a person with all that equipment. And he says the same thing about Red Tornado. It's like, yeah, he's an android, but, you know, even without a body, he's still a person. And people make mistakes, and people worry about things, and, you know, so we, you know, at the least we can do is try to keep this in check, right? Like, we just don't let him manipulate other people. That's the vibe I was getting from Cyborg here. So I do like that they point that out, that Red Tornado's doing all of this from this place of goodness, but there's still something that feels off.
Yeah.
You know, and if they you know, decide that they don't want to do this, who's going to keep that in check? So I do like they're taking that responsibility on here.
Yeah, so the 2 things here is that Baz and Cyborg go off to rescue Red Canary from the Church of Blood, who have got her. So they start fighting them.
An offshoot of them, which sounds super cool, like this super cult that's within the Church of Blood. So, you know, and then she's got herself into trouble because she's still kind of new, which I do like, because she is. We don't know much about her. She's had like 2 or 3 appearances at this point. So,
and then the other thing is that Red Tornado shows Power Girl something that'll help convince her that they have to do what they're doing. And we don't get a lot of context for this. We're going to need more of an explanation next time. But the cliffhanger is that he opens a door and there's like a viewer, like a screen, and her parents are on it because they can see her live. It's like a Skype call, and they say Kara, and she's like Mom and Dad, and then that's the cliffhanger. So he's talking to like her parents from like an alternate. I don't know, like, I mean, she's from a different Earth technically, but like, I'm just, what's the context of this live call? Should they not be dead?
Right, and they're holding a baby, right, which I'm assuming is her.
Yeah, so it's from the past. They're from.
It's from the past.
Yeah.
But then if you look at the energy around them, those are those Kirby crackles.
That's
so again,
true.
I'm wondering if there's some of that dark side energy, you know, that we're dealing with in Justice League Unlimited. You know, at play here. So, and maybe that's what's messing with Red Tornado, you know, to try to ice him out and keep him busy, you know?
Well, let's assume it's messing with him. Maybe it's not messing with him. Maybe what he is doing is actually completely on the up and up, but it's all related to what's going on with all the dark side universe stuff. Maybe it's going to tie into some of that eventually.
Yeah, maybe.
Tough to say.
But yeah, and then also I like the reason that he brought in Power Girl because in her other job, right, she reports on technology and AI. So she is very knowledgeable too, you know? So there's like, this is almost like the cyber Justice League at this point. Cause even Baz points out, he goes, I don't really know technology, but I do know engines and motors and stuff. So there is like this unifying thing with at least these first three that they do know machines. I mean, Cyborg is mostly one. So,
Red Canary is going to be the rookie on the team, seemingly. Yeah. Because we know she's going to join. So I'm very curious to see how that plays out. Still having a good time with it. I mean, Clayton Henry's art is perfectly fine. You know, it's very... I mean, it's very clean, which is not a bad thing. But it does, you know, there's definitely kind of a sort of simple cartoony look to some of the ways that he draws things. But there's not too much of his forehead problem that I've had in other books, and that's 2 issues now.
And 2 of these characters, especially Simon and Tornado, could easily fall victim to it.
Yes.
And I'm looking through the pages right now, and the proportions are all spot on. So I don't know, maybe Clayton Henry, if you are a listener, you know, thank you for listening to the critiques.
Taking the feedback.
You know,
I mean, and I think the action stuff, especially in that first half, because, you know, as much as I kind of glossed over the actual sequence of it, I do want to say that I think the pacing wise, it was really smart to just like focus on Cyborg for a couple of scenes where he's doing something and we can get in his head. So that it feels like, you know, like, and I hope they do the same with Red Canary, like next issue or whenever they do it. I hope she gets like maybe she explains how she get kidnapped and we get like a good few pages of her on her own, you know, to like give each member of the team a bit of a good introduction. Because so far I think that's been a strong like structure to the book. So it's a very pleasant read, honestly. I'm curious to see where they're going.
Very much so. And yeah, because she was investigating the series of ritual murders with this offshoot, right? So I would like to see some of that. I would like to see it instead of just being told about it.
I think we will. I think we'll see a little bit of it, and we can see how she operates on her own, and maybe what she's going to bring to the team. Maybe she's the more detective-y one out of the group. Yeah. Perhaps. Yeah. So, curious. All right, what are you giving Justice League Red issue 2?
Even though we just really praise it, the score is going to seem like it's a bit low, but it was decent. So I'm going to give it 7.5. Oh,
that seems low. I mean, I don't think we were overly praised. I think it's a good book. I'm liking the vibe of the team dynamic that AHMED's got going so far. They feel like they're saying logical things to each other, and they're like thinking about what they're doing in the right way. So I'm enjoying like kind of the build to the team becoming a team. So yeah, I think 7.5 sounds fair. I wouldn't quite call it great. Maybe if the art was like spectacular, I would tip it over. Yeah. But like I'm definitely down to keep reading it though. It was a pleasant time. Me too.